there to be beaten, and Giancarlo Italiano's side have made their best ever start to an A-League season. They'll be hoping to shake off their Amy Park hoodoo here against their hosts, Melbourne Victory. Let's head, before we start the action, down to the pitch for the Remembrance Day acknowledgement.
Wellington Phoenix would like to acknowledge tomorrow's Remembrance Day. We ask those who are able to join the match officials, players and staff upstanding for a moment's silence to remember those men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice in times of war. Thank you.
Well, let's have a look at our two starting lineups then, as Stand By Me plays around Amy Park. Tony Popovic has been forced into two changes from that 1-1 draw with Adelaide. Captain Roderick Miranda is suspended after that red card, so Connor Chapman will move alongside Damien De Silva in the centre of defence. Jason Guerrier returns at right back. Adama Traore is missing with that hamstring injury, so Stefan Negro, who replaced him in the first half last Saturday, does so from kickoff this evening. Elsewhere, the midfield three of Frenchmen Zinedine Machache and youngsters Fabien Monge and Ryan Teague have a collective A-League experience of 8 matches in the championship between them. Up front, the flying wingers Nishan Velupale and Daniel Arzani will be looking to continue Bruno Fornaroli's purple patch in front of goal. He's got 6 in 3 so far this term. And look on the bench, Lee Broxham on the bench for the first time this season. Well, for the visitors, and for the third week in a row, Giancarlo Italiano has gone with an unchanged starting 11. The defence that's only conceded 3 goals so far this term is led by New Zealand international Tim Payne, who scored his first A-League goal last weekend and makes his 100th appearance in all competitions for the Knicks. Mo Alte has made a place for himself in midfield alongside Pennington and Rufa, while up front Costa Barbarouses and Božidar Krajev will be looking to support the man that scored a hat-trick last weekend, Oscar Zavada. There is Damien De Silva. Knicks fans will remember him from last season. He gave the opening goal to Oscar Zavada in Wellington before setting up an equaliser for Fornaroli and scoring the winner himself. He wears the captain's armband for victory this evening. And there is a man that knows Amy Park and Melbourne Victory only too well. Costa Barbarouses becomes the 8th player to make 300 A-League appearances. His 150th was here for Wellington Phoenix back in 2017 against Melbourne Victory. It was a 3-0 win that day for the Knicks. It was the last time they ever beat Melbourne Victory in Melbourne. Tony Popovic, the most experienced current A-League coach. It's match number 257 at the helm for him. 15 wins and only 7 losses in his 26 matches coached against the Phoenix. Giancarlo Italiano, equal most inexperienced coach in the A-League. It's his 4th match as head coach in charge of the Wellington Phoenix, but yet to taste defeat. Our referee for this evening is Sean Evans, match number 160 for him, and the 8th time he takes charge of this fixture. Success breeds success, winning breeds confidence, and Andy Harper, these two sides are flying. One of them will be top of the table in 90 minutes' time.
Good evening, Robbie. What a great way to start the weekend. Round 4 of the A-League men's competition. It's been a very tumultuous opening 3 weeks. 2 coaches gone. I can't remember 2 coaches going inside the opening month. And plenty of talking points off the field. Unlikely start, unexpected start by Wellington Phoenix, and it'll be interesting to see tonight, of course, if they can maintain the rage against, the short term at least. It's been a resurgent Melbourne victory.
And it's victory onto the front foot early with Mashash and now Arzani. Finding Fabian Monge, who made his A-League debut last week against Adelaide in an excellent performance in the middle of the park. There he is, the number 18, alongside Stefan Negro at left back. This evening, Jason Guerrier returning. De Silva with Connor Chapman, who showed all of his competitive spirit last Saturday against Adelaide in a match that Victory have probably been mulling over all week, wondering how they didn't win that, given the chances they had, particularly in the first half, before being reduced to 10 with the sending off of Roderick Miranda. And they're onto the front foot here with the ball. Arzani looking trim and fit. Ball into feet. Valupale back inside. It's a lovely ball for Mashash. And the Frenchman draws the first save of the evening. 2 minutes in from Alex Paulson.
Grabbing his ankle was Mashash. Ball just wouldn't quite sit for him. I wonder if the VAR will be pouring over any illegal contact. It's a nice move by Victory. Good football, nice short interchange. Here's whoosh, go. There's that leg out. VAR will be looking at this one.
Well, we should like to have another look at it as well. Was it Finn Sermon who stuck out the leg? Was it enough to affect the quality of the shot from Zinedine Mashash? Zizou, obviously, as they're calling him, he wants to come and have a word to the referee and just say, absolutely, there was contact.
I think we're already discussing who's going to take the penalty. There he goes, inside. Is there contact there? Doesn't look like it, apparently.
Not enough.
Not enough. No real complaints from the Victory players. It's always at least some sort of barometer.
Finn Sermon will be breathing a little easier as well. The big Phoenix central defender, here he is on the ball. Just been called up to the All Whites for their next 2 friendly matches against Greece and Ireland, along with this man on the ball here, Alex Paulson. Both of them uncapped. There's a third member of the Phoenix side called up to the New Zealand national team as well. It's Tim Payne, the right back with licence to roam this season. There he is, right at the bottom of your screen there, for the first ever A-League goal last week against Brisbane. So a trio of Phoenix players called up to the New Zealand national team. 2 of the Victory youngsters have been called up to the Olyroos, who are in action over the next 2 weeks or so. And of course, fans in Australia are being treated at the moment after the Matildas. It's the Socceroos who are in action on Thursday against Bangladesh in their first 2026 World Cup qualifier for a trip to Kuwait to take on Palestine. Ryan Teague and Ishan Valupale, the 2 called up to the Olyroos squad. Here's Rufa. Ute into the feet of Barbarouses, but he's been dispossessed. Mashash on the charge again. Fornaroli leaves it for Valupale, who's been in devastating form with his running. He's got 1 goal against Newcastle as Mashash has picked up a good position again in the box. Monge looking for Valupale. De intercepted by Mohamed Ute, cleared only as far as Mashash again. Oh, lovely back heel. The Negro, the cross in, it bounces around. Off Pennington, hit Fornaroli. And most of the action is in the Knicks penalty box at the moment.
That's all good football from Melbourne. Knocking it around beautifully. The body language is good. Players receiving the ball, the chest's out, the shoulders are back, the head's up.
And they're defending.
They are now. We'll have to watch Zavada. His first multi-goal haul last week, which speaks a lot for his consistency, really.
That's absolutely right. His 16th, 17th and 18th A-League goals, but the first time he'd ever scored more than one in a single match.
I loved his pre-game interview with Zappers. He's extracted some gold in this early season interviews with Zappers. That was a real nugget. Drawing Oscar Zavada into the statement, heartfelt, fully believed. I'm the best striker in the league. Good on him. He can mount an argument to justify it as well. He's been very, very consistent in a team that hasn't always aimed up.
I'm sure, and this perhaps should become, we'll suggest it to Zappers in a moment, a staple question to the strikers pre-match, because I'm sure you'd probably get 12.
Well, let's get them to throw down the gauntlet.
The cross in from Kelly Heald towards Zavada. Cleared. Now, is there a foul there? Referee Sean Evans thought about letting it go. Mashash stopped, expecting the whistle as well. Ooh. Now it's a yellow card against Nick Pennington for diving. Just 7.5 minutes into this contest. Oh, that's a bit tough.
That's really harsh. That's really harsh.
Well, nobody wants diving, but there's clearly a knock on the ankle there, I think, of Nick Pennington, who has, I mentioned, Mo Ute has made a place for himself in this Phoenix side. So has Nick Pennington after a couple of years of in and out of the side. It's his 50th appearance today in all competitions for the Phoenix since returning from Italy, where he finished his football schooling as a young man. Here's Arzani. Arzani, as he likes to glide through players, chipping it towards Velupale. Tim Payne's header away is not cleared far. Velupale. Kelly Heald with a foot in there to get it away from Guerrier, and another more convincing this time to launch the ball upfield. Velupale, this is where he's dangerous, running at players. Oh, he almost got Tim Payne in a muddle all on his own there as he was backpedaling. Fornaroli took over, corner the outcome.
Well, it's pretty sleepy defending, really, by comparison for Wellington Phoenix. Certainly when you look at their first 2 games of the season, 3 games of the season, but they're backing off here. They don't really know where their feet are. That's a muffed clearance from Payne, who's been excellent till now. Victory just not taking advantage, but they've certainly earned generally the advantage so far, the home team. Terrace in full voice.
First corner of the contest for Daniel Arzani. Referee says let's go. It's back post towards Connor Chapman. And it's Finn Sermon doing the defensive duties, heads it away. For the moment, just that one foray upfield for Wellington Phoenix, the visitors here, whose last win I mentioned came back in 2017 against Melbourne Victory. Victory have won the last 3 in a row But there's a break on here. Barbarouses looking to flick it inside towards Kraev. Dealt with by Stefan Nigro. And now Damien De Silva. Big switch of play. Excellent ball for Arzani. Lovely control against Sermon. Arzani hoping to open up on the right-hand side. And as Daniel Arzani does so often, looks for that most difficult of options. Yeah. Beautiful as it is, but low percentage returns.
Well, if it was Fornaroli at that point, he shoots on the first jink for that far post, and everything up until that point, and I'm not trying to reduce or conflate the players at all, but very similar technically. You could imagine Bruno bringing that ball down exactly the way Daniel did on the edge of the box. Here he goes now.
And here is Arzani. This time he shoots, and it fizzes over the crossbar. That was more Fornaroli-esque.
Indeed, and that's so maybe the one to get out of the system for Arzani, but if he'd been that focused the first time, here's the first one. Look at this beautiful touch. Like, it's exquisite. The eyes are up for goal. He sees that. That's the time to shoot. From the regular angle that we watched it from, there was that avenue to the far post. The second time, he was way more definitive. Also not challenged, but it was a good strike from Arzani, and Victory looking good.
Already 3 shots. As Sermon and Paulson, the 2 youngsters from the Phoenix Academy, playing with fire there. They've turned it over again. Zavada was involved. Fornaroli with Nigro. Excellent at left back last weekend when he replaced the injured Adama Traore. Valupale with Guerria. Doing that also familiar right back role of stepping into midfield to make it a back 2 or 3. Here's Monge with De Silva up the line, just dummied out of it that time. Arzani. Let's head down to Zappers, who's with us at the sidelines at Amy Park this evening. Zappers, how is it down there? Nice warm evening for you.
Good evening, gents. Yeah, 30 degrees at the moment, on top of 31 today. It'll get down to 25. There'll be no drinks breaks. The wet bulb was out earlier for the test, but they deemed it not warm enough for a drinks break throughout this game tonight. Victory will be wary that they need to convert some of this early domination, because last week it was a very similar story against Adelaide United. Dominated that first half. A combination of poor finishing and outstanding goalkeeping from Joe Cauchi kept Adelaide in the game, and we know what happened in the end.
That's right. Red card, Miranda. Equalising goal, Iwasuki. And a cracking match of football. And this one has started at a very nice tempo as well.
Yeah, fabulous. I mean, Victory are in good nick early stages of this season. I think that's clear, becoming clearer as well. The opening success of the first 3 rounds. There's no fluke. Very positive play.
Valupale, he and Arzani, full of confidence in these wide rolls. Guerria looks for an option, finds one in Ryan Teague, and the Odiru gets his first ever A-League goal. Back from Portugal with that crucial number 6 role. He's keeping Ray Marchand out of the side, and he gives Victory the lead.
Harvey Norman replay just shows beautiful football. It's a superb pass from Jason Guerria, and the run out of midfield was exquisite from Ryan Teague. He comes back to the A-League with a big reputation after going as a youngster to Portugal. He's got the start at Melbourne Victory. He breaks his season drought with a wonderful goal from midfield. It's beautiful from Melbourne Victory. Really beautiful football.
Well, I mentioned the lack of A-League experience in that midfield 3. He played once before heading to Portugal. Did Ryan Teague, back for Sydney FC, just 9 minutes against Brisbane Roar. Now he's a regular starter after his time with Falamicao and then Sporting Covilla on loan in the 2nd division. And Jason Guerria with that very timely assist.
But it's Great to see Jason back on the field. He's missed so much over recent years. He's the solitary Socceroos cap. And just remember watching Jason play for the young Socceroos in the World Cup in South America and thought, well, there's a Socceroo right back in waiting, and it's just never materialised. I put it down largely to his stop-start relationship with injury. It's really hampered a consistent run at top-flight football, but he's shown plenty. I'm really happy for him that he can hang his hat on that beautiful assist. Wonderful pass. And a great finish from Ryan Teague. Deserved lead for victory. Takes a bit of the pressure off.
As Archie was just telling us, they went ahead last week. Perhaps their biggest regret last week was not turning that 1-0 into 3 or 4 by half-time. Nishan Falupale was excellent in every aspect of his game, apart from the finishing. Here's the goal scorer, Teague, with Guerrier. Mashash coming short. Sees a lot of the football. Zinedine Mashash in midfield. Always Teague knew he was being closed down there, but his touch just let him down. Here's Zavada. So much of the billing for this one, Zavada versus Fornaroli, but there's so much quality out there on the football pitch that you just knew that someone else could pop up. Zavada opened the scoring in his 2 previous matches against Melbourne Victory, only for his side to concede 3 as Fornaroli is dragged back by Finn Sermon, and that is a more orthodox yellow card, if you like, for Finn Sermon. Zavada will be happy with the idea of conceding the opening goal this time if it means they can score 3.
And before I forget, I need to correct myself. The World Cup, Under-20s Cup, in which Jason Guerrier, I thought, did so well, was actually in Turkey, not South America. My geography completely wrong there, but you get the point.
The point still stands. And 1 Socceroo cap for Jason Guerrier.
Might have been more, that's my point.
Back in 2016. Now free kick, Melbourne Victory with Arzani, back post, Guerrier's there. He's headed it back and it's come off. Kelly Heald, I think, last, and out for a corner. We're talking about Jason Guerrier, who had that spell at Perth Glory as well when he returned from Jeff United in Japan. Teague to take this one. Paulson comes, Paulson punches. It'll be a victory throw.
Right from round 1, Alex Paulson has shown, for a young, inexperienced player, great command of his penalty area. He's beautiful with his feet. He's made those clutch saves, including from the spot against Perth. But as was said in round 1, and maintained now, is I think his greatest attribute in a pretty handy arsenal is his command for a youngster of his penalty area. Very, very positive.
Like many, he comes from a footballing family. Beautifully done, Arzani, but I think he's just run it out of play. Goal kick, and we'll head down to Archie Thompson, the former Victory striker, who's joining us this evening. Archie, what do you make of this Victory performance so far?
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. What I'm noticing mostly about Melbourne Victory, especially, is that midfield, the mobility of Ryan Teague. And Monge has really adapted to A-League very, very quickly. You can see with the way that they move, and even when they don't have the ball, the movement to close players down, close down the space, and also too with Teague with that beautiful run into the box. But also too, what's really noticeable about the Melbourne Victory is their way they keep possession in that front third, because it's hard to be able to create, but also too to be able to hold possession. They seem to be able to create, pass the ball with comfortability in that front third.
Thanks, Archie. Well, as a striker playing against packed defences, sometimes you have to be patient, and then you've got to have the quality to find those inch-perfect passes, exactly what Gary did there. You see it touches in opposition box. Final third entries, everything very much in favour of the home side, who show no signs of relinquishing their 9-match unbeaten run against Wellington Phoenix at home. Looking to extend that to double figures. They've won the last 3. They did go for a run of 7 consecutive wins over Wellington Phoenix back in 2011 to 2013. Here's Kelly Heald with a nice little touch, taking on Jason Guerrier. A giant youngster whose twin brother, Albert, or Albie as he's known, is on the bench for Wellington Phoenix this evening as well. The two 18-year-olds who represented their country at the Under-20 World Cup in Argentina last year. There's no Jack Duncan on the bench for the Knicks. He didn't travel with illness, so it's a second Kelly Heald on the bench for the Phoenix. Albie wearing the gloves. As here's Velupile on the charge again. Velupile still going. The cut back towards Fornaroli, and again there's that awareness and confidence in the box for Alex Paulson.
And in the end, just too many numbers in the Wellington penalty area. So credit the Knicks for defending that prized piece of real estate. But the lead-up play is really fluent. Velupile not really sure of his advantage, I don't think. And in the end, he couldn't make anything of that cross.
With Payne. Rufa. With Kelly Heald. Barbarouses. Won 2 championships with Melbourne Victory. Costa Barbarouses. One with Brisbane. One with Sydney. Plenty of experience there. The 8 players in the 300 club now. And this is an interesting stat, Andy, because I admit sometimes not all my stats are interesting. 40 goals scored of the 300 club, almost all goalkeepers and defenders. No one getting near 80 goals scored, rather, for Costa Barbarouses. The only out-and-out attacking player in that list.
Yeah, well, there's 2 things to say on that, Robbie. Firstly, your most bizarre stats directly correlate with the time of day that you find them, and those that come out at 2:45 a.m. are in the bizarro world end of the consideration. The second thing is, the longer players' careers go on, the further back down the park they drift. And for Costa, a mark of his quality is that he's been able to keep his legs and speed this long to be that constant threat over 300 games.
As the break is on with Velupile on the charge. They've got 3 to aim for in the middle. He went near post with Mashash, and it's Kelly Heald who does an excellent defensive job.
Again, that's the comparison from Velupile with the Guerrier set up for the goal. He's got plenty of time here. Nishant, it's found the defender. Really, that option there, the best you're going to get is the bounce off someone, your supporting striker, or an inadvertent deflection from a defender into the goal. It needs more craft. With that sort of time and space, it needs more craft. And then Victory will skip clear.
Here is Velupile again with Arzani. Arzani shoots, palmed away by Paulson.
So he's had 3 sights at goal. The first one he ignored. The second 2, I think he's learned from his own error, and they've been stinging efforts, particularly that one. Look at the wobble on that ball, and Paulson does brilliantly just to maintain his status. Punch the ball to safety.
Guerrier's ball in, the header away by Wooden. Here's Negro, turning away from Kraev. Wellington Phoenix really just chasing shadows at the moment. As Archie said, holding on to possession. There's no pressure on the ball carriers. This time Barbarouses manages to get the better of Mashash, and immediately the press from Fornaroli. Paulson's ball. It's not a bad idea. Switch of play that time from De Silva. Can't find Daniel Arzani, who gives it the big thumbs up.
Well, Zappers has reported just how hot it is, and for Wellington, without a lot of time to acclimatise, it'll be a big shift. Played at home last week. Wellington obviously doesn't get as warm, certainly not in the 30-degree range this time of year at least. So that might be having some sort of impact on their start to this game. They've been clearly second best so far.
Barbarouses goes looking for Zavada. No way through there. There is that list. 4 of those top 8 now. Former Knicks players as well. Andy Harper. Liam Reddy and Danny Vukovic. A season each in goal, and Andrew Durante, the legend at the back and former skipper of Knicks. Sydney FC have 6 of that list as former Sydney FC players, not exclusively, of course. In top spot is the Melbourne Victory man, Lee Broxham, on the bench for the first time this season. This evening, Lee Broxham hoping to add to his 381, all of them in navy blue. Barbarouses coming deep. Payne wants the ball to come more quickly. Alte, along with Jack Duncan, 2 signings over the off-season from the Newcastle Jets. Alte, who is playing in midfield but is filling in this right-back position a fair bit of the time. Turned over by Wooten. Kelly Hill charging back, those long legs, but a foul on Arzani, and the way Arzani's been striking the ball, it's a long way out, but you wouldn't put it past him.
Well, it's on the edge of the range, you'd reckon, if he decides to go direct for goal. Just got a little forearm across the chops there. Wasn't the reason for the foul, but that's what Daniel's feeling most.
Goal, cross back post, Guerrier again with the header, and again it's come off Kelly Heald, I think.
Yeah, nice tasty ball to the far post. Guerrier has been dangerous twice now, once from a corner, required attention, and he finds space again here. He actually wins that one, but can't get the ball back past the retreating Phoenix defenders. Good pressure this from Melbourne Victory. Wellington look half likely on the counter-attack. They're having to earn those rights by defending stoutly. It's all Victory in the final thirds at the moment.
Teague's ball in, just too high for Connor Chapman. De Silva, back post, Paulson. Not taking any chances under pressure, punches, it's another corner.
Yeah, good decision, made his mind up early. He's never going to flirt with this one. Paulson just gets that left juke to it.
Taken short and quickly. Valupale, cross in, header away by Sermon. De Silva. Gary up. Oh, he's done well just to flick the ball goalwards, as Rufer was trying to chaperone it out of play.
been excellent again this season so far. Alex Ruther. He's anchoring that midfield, doing a lot of the dirty work.
That's a good ball from Pennington. Breaking the line with Kraev, but then he can't find Tim Payne. Kiwi international furious with the pass that can't hit the mark, and now Valupale, this is where he's so dangerous, streaming forward from broken play. He finds Arzani, Mashash, Valupale, Monge arriving in the middle. Arzani still! Well, that one I don't think needed saving in the end.
He has got great acceleration. Fornaroli wanted the cutback. It's got a lot of potential, this partnership. There's something about Daniel at the moment. He's trimmed down. It's the Popovic effect. We've said it before. Players move clubs, possibly with the chance to actually get themselves really sharpened up. It's had that impact on Daniel Arzani, it seems to me. Was promising a lot in that Cup triumph run at MacArthur. Didn't materialise for the club over the course of that season. He leaves and moves to Victory. And he looks like a player who acknowledges, if I'm going to do this, I've got to make it now. And watching him as a Victory player is, again, Robbie, like watching him as that youngster coming through at Melbourne City, off the bench principally, with the ability to light up a game. Got him into the World Cup and then overseas. Most people are more familiar with the story from that point on. But he's looking sharp again.
Nice from Geria, who finds Arzani. Here's Valupale, trying to come inside to a very crowded area. You can see all the yellow shirts in there. Arzani still, only one to aim for in the middle. Everyone's standing out on this left wing with him. Here's Mashash. He looks up and sees no future in crossing just yet. And the Frenchman brings us back out with his compatriot Damien De Silva. Negro rides the challenge of Alte. Negro again with Fornaroli. Little touch for Geria. Goes again, Fornaroli! Well, there are prominent players all over the pitch for Melbourne Victory at the moment.
Terrific block in the end from Wooten. Again, their penalty area defending has been very good. It's needed to be. They're conceding a lot of territory, not able to stop the flow of possession for Victory, but when it gets into the penalty area, the Knicks so far have been desperate enough.
And how long can they keep it up for?
Well,
they've already been breached once. Geria almost the provider for a second time this evening. A few boos for Barbarouses, who of course, after Melbourne Victory, had a spell at Sydney before returning home. The Wellington boy at heart made his debut 15 years ago with Wellington in their first ever season. Here he is on the ball with Zavada. He crosses, back post. Pennington won't get there. Nobody will.
some pretty sharp work there from Costa Barbarouses twice in that attack. He secured possession and opened the field up beautifully with great technique on halfway, and then knocked Chapman off the ball to keep the attack really going most recently. This is where Victory need to be careful. You can't discount Wellington. They haven't had a lot of the ball, but they look half likely when the game opens up. Costa buzzing around, and the presence and danger of Zavada, and Kraev can pop up with some magic as well. Victory really need to watch it.
Tony Popovic will have been making sure they learnt that exact lesson just a week ago. There he is. It was a fantastic first season in charge of Melbourne Victory. That was the first season effect of Tony Popovic. We saw it at the Wanderers, at Perth Glory, and at Melbourne Victory, but last season it was anything but. Montenegro. Wide again for Velupile. They're affording him a lot of space. The cross. There was a run in there from Arzani and Fornaroli as well, trying something a bit different. There you see 42% of the game being played in Wellington's final third. Just 10% at the other end. And Wellington yet to fashion a shot at goal for the 7 from Melbourne victory for their 1 goal in return. There you see where this game is being played as well. That's a good header from Kelly Yield for Zavada, inviting Payne forward. The cross in, Zavada was in there. Velupile does well. Find Arzani. He looks long now. One for Fornaroli to chase. Comes inside Sermon. Fornaroli only had one thing on his mind. Bruno Fornaroli. Mashash. So calm in possession. Zinedine Mashash. Teague back with Guerrier. Second ever A-League match for Fabien Monge, the number 18, but really seamless transition last week. Again, preferred to Raimar Chan in the middle of the park as well. Take Brimmer. Can't get a look in at the moment. Left an unused sub on the bench last weekend as well. Johnny Warren medalist 2 seasons ago. Jake Brimmer.
Yeah, you look at the victory bench as it's constructed today, and a big difference between it and many of the other clubs in the competition, the lack of asterisks next to the names, which denotes an under-23s player.
Zalte's cross towards Zavada. Here's Kraev. Nudge in the back from Arzani. Referee allows play to continue. Kelly Hield back in towards Barbarouses and claimed by Izzo. Well, there was definitely a nudge. The question is more about threshold and having had one at the other end.
Coach Italiano's asking that question now. I think it looks to me like he ought to have shoved in the back. The officials mull over this one, if that's indeed what they're doing. Just to finish that point, how positive things might be for victory. They've got a very experienced squad. You've got no less than Jake Brimmer sitting on the bench. You know, that's just a delayed comeback from the injury, didn't have the off-season he needed, whatever. But you just imagine Jake at full cry demanding his place back by performance. How much better victory you're going to get is on top of what they're already doing, and it's very impressive so far from Melbourne victory.
And to finish on the asterisks chat, Andy, on that bench, all but one of the Wellington Phoenix bench have asterisks as well, and most of them, or 3 of them, are teenagers. Benjamin Olden, Sam Sutton at 21, all the rest under 20.
Now in the 2 midfielders for victory, Ryan Teague and Fabien Monge. They're in the asterisk category, we should declare. But the story of Fabien Monge is even better, as far as I'm concerned.
As here comes Velupile with Mashash. It's a good cross again. That was Sermon who got the touch. Kelly Hield with a little nudge in the back, but not enough to put Arzani off his game, according to referee Sean Evans. Here's Zavada. Space for Payne. Barbarouses outside him. Straightens up. The cross in is a brilliant one. And it's an own goal. Take your pick between De Silva and Izzo. But just as it was a year ago between these two sides, Damien De Silva has a big hand in a Phoenix goal. And just as it was last week, despite dominating the victory, find themselves pegged back. It's 1-1.
Well, we discussed it, and here it is on the Harvey Norman replay. The victory not just half likely, they're fully likely. And the own goal conceded. It's a beautiful attack. With that space in front of them, they've looked dangerous, even though Victory have had most of the game. And Costa Barbarouses, who's been, I think, their outstanding player, puts the ball into that corridor of uncertainty for a defender, and it pays dividends. And they might be out of sight, Victory, but instead they're back level.
Zavada was the target. Own goal. Damien De Silva, one of his 2 goals scored, came last year.
They'll be checking the Zavada's
offside position. This is always the debate, though, isn't it? Is he involved in the play? The ball didn't make it that far, so how was he involved in the play?
Because the defender's not going to throw himself if there's no striker behind him. Look, who knows? Italiano, the Wellington coach, will say, well, the goal came a minute or 2 after we should have got the penalty. This one's yet to stand.
And even when they play with their backs against the wall, it's been all cleared. So the check we've heard is finished. Goal stands. Decision upheld. Wellington are back all square. Game on at Amy Park.
It sure is. And as tough as Wellington might have been finding the game, their penalty area defending, coupled with some dodgy decisions from Melbourne attackers at key moments, kept them in the game. But if you're not diligent in that defensive penalty area, then you can let poor attack off the hook. But they've covered, they've got in numbers, they've thrown themselves at the ball that wouldn't intercept, comes to mind, stayed in the game, and they looked likely on the counter-attack. It was a beautiful equaliser from them, even though in the end it was an own goal. The lead-up was really good from Wellington.
Curious position of having equalised without yet having had their first shot of the match. Wellington Phoenix penalty. Damien De Silva, well, just 2 minutes after he scores an own goal, 3 minutes after Phoenix had a first penalty appeal, and now Sean Evans has pointed to the spot, and Damien De Silva, his Phoenix woes are coming back again now. Inside or outside?
The question is it on the line? It's in the back. It's a free kick anywhere else on the field. And if that's deemed to be inside the penalty area, how accurate are the camera angles, Robbie?
Well, he's got 1 foot planted in the box.
Is that where the contact was? Did we split the hairs like that?
Well, where was the ball? The ball hadn't arrived by that stage. Referee has decided, and Oscar Zavada with the chance to put away a first Phoenix penalty, but the referee, I think, is going to go and have a look. Oscar Zavada's not interested. Well, the referee was heading over towards the halfway line. He's left the penalty area. He was about to make the sign, I think, to have a look to see if... Now, we've just been told they're checking an offside in the lead-up to the penalty. That's what you can see. Sean Evans just telling the Victory captain Damien De Silva there.
unfortunately, the fans in the stadium have no idea what's going on. Zavada.
Well, there's Pennington.
There's Pennington. Well, it doesn't look like it's offside. You can understand why they're having a look at it. And the next one, is it in the penalty area? They're pretty clear that that's the case.
Now they're checking if that first Pennington is offside, but we might have another look and see if we can't see exactly where it was. Here's the first one.
He's off there. Ball's not played. Ball's played.
Now
he's onside. And that's in the box. It's a penalty.
Well, that's exactly what the referee said.
Yeah.
Nearly 5 minutes ago now.
But there's all the President's men impersonations.
Offside.
Offside.
Offside it is. We'll get you confirmation of that in a moment's time, as we're going to have at least 4 minutes added on. Well, sometimes camera angles can be deceiving. It looked certainly very tight. Nodded on. Sermon clears. Wellington Phoenix so close to having the chance, and there you see how close these decisions are when they're made.
Well, that's an armpit here. Where's the line of demarcation there?
Well, I think it's around the armpit, so why not?
Yeah, it's set. I mean, something's got to give. This is not what the law of offside was constructed for. I feel for the Wellington fans. That's extraordinarily frustrating. Through the course of a season, it happens to all teams, so it probably should be said.
De Silva will also be breathing a little easier. After that, he'd already scored an own goal. He doesn't want to be giving away penalties as well. It's an amazing game, football. A Melbourne victory, dominating outrageously the opening half hour. Going ahead, looking as though this game was in control against a side that haven't won here in 6 years. But it almost turned on its head in a matter of seconds.
Which was the risk, and now the challenge for victory is to make sure that they accept that opportunity that's been given to them now, reassert their dominance. They played some wonderful stuff. Stay of execution. Wellington, for their part, could easily be further behind, but they've stuck in the fight. They've got enough quality in the front half of the field to sting and hurt, and very close to doing just that.
And here they come again. Victory, though, with Arzani. The referee on the whistle again. It was Kelly Heald who was sliding in with those long legs. He's nearly 2 meters tall. Kelly Heald. And he gets a booking.
That's great play from Hazard. It's that acceleration again. Clearly outside the penalty area is where the foul started. First contact.
Lucas Kelly Heald into the book. And defending to be done here, because Daniel Arzani can deliver a devilish free kick at the best of times. The yellow card tally, reflection of the pressure the Phoenix defence has been under. Arzani, you wouldn't put it past him shooting from this kind of angle as well. Is there a little nod of understanding with a teammate in the middle there? We're in the 50th minute of the first half. Arzani it is. And Zavada with the header away. Taken short. Mashash with Arzani. Arzani still. Again, he decides to shoot, but that one not as effective as the last couple, as Mashash steals the ball away off Barbarouses just as the half-time whistle blows. Well, thrill a minute at Amy Park to open the weekend of action in the A-Leagues between two of the undefeated sides so far this season. The winner will go top, but as it stands, we don't have a winner. It's Melbourne Victory 1, Wellington Phoenix 1 at half-time.
Absolutely. He was a relieved man as well because they could have very well been 2-1 down. You touched on that final decision-making. The man standing next to me scored 90 A-League goals, Archie, but you assisted just as many as well. A lot of people don't know that about you. That partnership with Danny Allsop was something that we loved watching. And why I raise that is because in that final third, that understanding and the time to make the pass you had when you were playing. What did Melbourne Victory need to do in that second half?
Well, they just need to continue doing what they're doing. What Mac has said, it's that decision-making when you come to that crucial part of the field. Okay, he's getting himself into that area. I love when he goes at players because he doesn't give the defender time to really get his feet planted. But what you need to do when you do get yourself in that position, if you find yourself you've got enough time, that's when you compose yourself, take a look up, see where your players are, who's running in, and pick out a pass. You saw where Jason Guerrier made that decision to just pause a little bit, played a perfect pass and a great run. So they just need to be a bit more composed in certain areas.
Yeah, this man should know, Scotty. He's done it plenty of times for this club.
Welcome back to Amy Park for the second half of this opening match of the weekend. It's lived up to the billing so far. It's Melbourne Victory 1, Wellington Phoenix 1. The home side have dominated. The home side looking to make it 4 games without defeat at the start of an A-League season for the first time since 2014, when they went on to win the Premiership and the Championship. For Wellington Phoenix, they're looking to add another match undefeated, preferably a win, to their best ever start to an A-League season. 45 minutes to elect a winner out of this one. A winner that will move provisionally top of the table. Andy Harper, the first half, showed us that Melbourne Victory are a changed side from the one that struggled so much of last season. Wellington Phoenix, they are a resistant outfit.
Yeah, it was a terrific first half, I thought, Robbie. Controversy aside, the team that dominated most of the football ended up in the lead. Wellington showed that they're not to be messed with, and Victory were warned. But the difference that I see from Melbourne Victory this season to the one that petered out last season so disappointingly, with a very troubled campaign with all the controversy and tumult, was they're just doing things much quicker. When it's time to go forward, they go, like now.
Great switch of play, cleared by Sermon.
From good positions last year, Melbourne Victory would take an extra touch, be a bit more laboured. The evidence so far is that they play forward fast and early, and if it doesn't work, then they consolidate possession in that final third and look to prise the team open. But the first question they ask of their opponents is, can you hit us when we come at you first time? Most opponents have found that difficult if you just haven't got the goal haul yet to turn that play into clear advantage.
Sermon forced to look long for Zavada. Wins it in the air against Chapman. Stefan Negro clearing it forward, but Phoenix have it again. There's a foul by Chapman. Referee allows the advantage. Barbarouses against his former club. Costa Barbarouses goes down under the challenge of Valupale. And the first dangerous free kick of this second half goes Phoenix's way.
Well, Barbs is responding to the Boo Boys. He's been electric tonight without scoring a goal, but he's looking really threatening. Good on the assist for the equaliser. He's been good in between times.
He scored 6 times against Melbourne Victory in his A-League career, but only one of them was for Wellington Phoenix back in 2017. Scored 9 in total for his hometown club, 9 of the 80 A-League goals in 300 appearances this evening for Costa Barbarouses. Kelly Heald leaves it. Tim Payne's delivery back post. The dummy was convincing, but it looks like it caught out a couple of his own players, and then in the end Tim Payne's delivery wasn't wall quality.
It's a good target to have at the back. Zavada just overcooking things.
Here's Teague to Valupale. Back with Melbourne Victory's goal scorer this evening, Ryan Teague. Connor Chapman with Teague again, looks long. One for Fornaroli to chase, it's over. Tim Payne, but the flag's up for offside. And speaking of offsides, we've got a zoomed image of the offside call.
Oh,
so that's how close it is.
Does that clear it up at all, does it?
Well,
am I missing something?
it's on the shoulder, first of all, so your armpit hair question is valid. But most importantly...
Get the tweezers out.
Yes, but if it's offside, it's offside, surely. I mean, that's the rule of the game.
And that's if you've got everything right, the point of contact, everything. Anyway, let's not get into it. I think the video of assistant refereeing has been copping a fair bit this week. I can't see the pressure being alleviated anytime soon, Robbie. That is not what offside is all about. Level, that's as good as level as you're going to get. God's sake.
Well, it has worked in Victory's favour so far this evening. It was a potential penalty that was overturned in Wellington Phoenix's favour. Oscar Zavada was standing with the ball over the penalty spot, waiting for his chance. And Paul Izzo, a chance that never came. And as a result of that as well, 50 minutes in, Wellington Phoenix are still looking for their first shot of the game. Tony Popovich spoke about how important it was to have Jason Guerrier back available after he missed the original rivalry match with that quad strain picked up the week before. He repaid that confidence with the assist for Ryan Teague. Andy Harper mentioned how he is one of those players, and there are a few of them around that don't seem to have that international career that perhaps they deserved or perhaps they could have had. Here's De Silva with Guerrier. A little touch for Fabian Monge. Arzani with Mashash. This is nicely done again. Valupale trying to cut inside, no way past Tim Payne. We had no changes to either side at half-time, but Giancarlo Italiano, otherwise known as Chiefy, looks like he's preparing to make a double change for the Phoenix.
Just the last point on Jason Guerrier's international career that never really materialised. Same sort of vintage as Joshy Risdon and Ryan Grant, both done great jobs for the Socceroos. And you couldn't really convince me that Jason couldn't have been their equal. It's the vagaries of top-flight sport. Injuries, career decisions.
It's the ball back in, towards Fornaroli, appeals for handball. Well, has that gone against Kelly Heald? If it's hit his arm, the ball was ricocheting around. And it must have been an arm away from the body. There is Sean Evans' decision. It means that it can't have been accidental. Let's have a look.
It's for the shoulder in the back, I'd say.
For the push.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was gesticulating. It can't be a handball.
No handball. Yeah,
it's the push in the back.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a push in the back of Fornaroli. Kelly Heald is now asking for a VAR to have a look. All the Wellington Phoenix substitutes as well.
Well, the difference here is having called the penalty, there's got to be sufficient evidence to overturn it, as opposed to the Arzani potential infringement in the first half, which wasn't called.
Ojdar Kraev was asked to go have a look. Now we're going to have an on-field review, so the video assistant referee has asked Sean Evans perhaps to come across and have a look at it. Now Fornaroli, I think, is saying, I didn't see. Fornaroli thinks it's for handball, I'm convinced, because he raised his arm and was appealing for a handball.
Well, the referee gesticulated with the shoulder in the back.
Well, there's... Is he saying that's a
That's
handball?
The handball. Who knows?
Well, it's hit him right on the shoulder. And Kelly Heald is saying that can't possibly. I think Bruno Fornaroli even thinks it's to play. So it is for a handball. There you see him get in front. It bounced off his shoulder. Now if it's hit the McDonald's sign, is that the arm? On that left arm?
Well, they say, Robbie, a picture tells 1,000 words, but I think the 1,000 words that are coming through at the moment are in some nondescript language that hasn't been spoken for 1,000 years. How do you work this out?
Well, it's come off. It looks like it's come off the point of the shoulder.
Yes.
Now what's the referee
No penalty.
going to make of this? Drop ball, no penalty. Well, the drama of a Friday night, that's now the battle of Fornaroli-Bizavada that we've been expecting this evening, has amounted to a sum total of 2 would-be penalties. Both was ready to take it, and in the end, not given. Ben Auld makes his 50th appearance for Wellington Phoenix in all competitions as he replaces Mo Alte. And Nick Pennington comes off as well for David Ball, who started the first match of the season for the Knicks before not featuring. That change actually for David Ball for Mo Alte in the second match of the season has been the only change affected by Giancarlo Italiano to his starting 11s all season. But Ball is back on now. Two overturned penalties. Wooten bundled over by Velupile. Here's Fornaroli. It's a good challenge by Payne. No free kick, says the referee, as Fornaroli grabs his ankle. He's barely had a sighting at goal all match so far. Always Rufer with the big air swing. Mashash gets it back from Teague. Monge with Guerrier. And there is something about victory matches at Amy Park this season. Fornaroli. It almost broke to Mashash as Wooten clears. But there is a real edge to proceedings this evening.
Well, there is. Both teams have had near-death experiences, both vying for the top spot. Victory of, over the course of the 57 minutes played, most of the football, but it hasn't been enough for them to separate clearly from their challenges tonight. Wellington Phoenix, who are showing that nuggety resilience you've referred to it a couple of times, Robert.
That's a clever touch from Fornaroli for Mashash, who's deceptively quick. But Tim Payne is enjoying an excellent season so far with the Phoenix. He matched him stride for stride. Mashash again, little ball through, just too much for Velupile. There was an opening there.
A couple of times tonight, Mashash, he's given plenty early season, but a couple of times in the penalty area, he's sort of lost his way, hasn't quite been aware of the space he's had. That was the most recent instalment. It's a tough call because things come at you quickly and the angles are tight. But there was an opportunity there for him to receive the ball and realise that there was space to attack. He could have controlled and shot.
Rufer and Teague coming together. Barbarouses, no way past Fabian Monge. The New South Wales NPL champion with RPA Leichhardt this last season.
Thank you, Robbie. That was my point. It has been left hanging. And one of the great stories about that Fabian Monge represents is another player who's basically come out of an NPL existence. The door never closes if you persevere and you're good enough. And so far, this season, he's shown he's good enough in a team that's basically been very functional.
Here he is again. He followed Tony Popovic to Xanthi in Greece without playing. Returned to Apia Leichhardt. Oh, it's De Silva's back pass. His ball tried to chase it down. Also played the season for Sydney Olympic as well, but cut his teeth with the Western Sydney Wanderers. Fabien Monge, just the one senior appearance in the Australia Cup with the Wanderers. Free kick as Zavada is bundled over. And Rufa and Mashash. Well, I shouldn't laugh, but it looked a bit comic the way you push me, I push you. You push me, I push you. It's still going. A little bit more of that edge we were talking about. Mashash again, he's so strong, he gets away from Rufa. Mashash looking to make the Phoenix pay. Well, he provided a superb assist for Fornaroli a week ago. That was from a similar position, but couldn't pick him out. And now Phoenix try and break forward. Kraev with Zavada, his ball. Ben Old, the two substitutes combining. Kraev now. The ball in, that's the target. There's Zavada in the middle, so good in the air.
I think Wellington getting more quality off Kraev from those situations. Victory have been repeat offenders in that sort of situation tonight. Good positions, not delivering the telling ball. Kraev showed that weakness then. They're of great repute.
Yes, we talk about injuries. Andy Harper, how they can scupper a career at certain levels, and Daniel Arzani is no stranger.
No, and this is one of the prevailing questions around Daniel is capacity. Physical capacity over the length of the game. And he's been dynamic again to start this match, but we've hit 60 minutes. He's had to go for the gas tank. He's great to watch when he's in this mindset, great to watch. In fact, should have been more of a yield tonight, but he's certainly worth watching, Daniel Arzani. That remains true, well, at least from my vantage point.
Ray Marchand comes on to replace Fabien Monge, and Ben Falami has replaced Daniel Arzani then in a like-for-like move in one of those wide attacking positions, and you've got to feel for Daniel Arzani, if that is a calf strain. He was able to leave the field on his own feet, which is good, but a player that's had a history of muscle problems, it's never good to see. Both sides have made two changes now, just after the hour mark and before for Wellington Phoenix. Zavada does well, that back to goal roll where he comes deep, holds onto the ball, gets it wide. Kelly Heel. He straightens up. Zavada with Rufa. Spell of possession that the Phoenix have had all match just about, as Barbarouses finds it back with Rufa. Rufa chips it towards Kraev at the back post. Was Zavada, he was looking for him. Izzo comes and claims the clearance.
Well, clever position taken up from Kraev there. That's more like it. That was a really, really clever position, just drifting. Look at him just ghosting there. Gets himself onside nicely. And it was a good option from him. Zavada, on another occasion, might have made a beeline for that near post. Wellington have stabilised nicely. Victory still playing well, but Wellington offering more with the ball themselves now than they did for the bulk of that first half. Aside, of course, from remaining dangerous on counter-attack.
Now, Phoenix have it back again. Ben Old. Another talented youngster coming through the ranks. He stayed on his feet somehow there, Ben Old. Connor Chapman there to steal the ball away. Now De Silva. Looks long. Towards Mashash. Throw goes Phoenix way. About Phoenix not having had a shot at goal in the match so far. We've now gone 65 minutes, and there will be a few minutes added on as well. We've had a couple of stoppages. 9 shots for victory, none for Phoenix. And the season XG for Wellington Phoenix, they've scored 7 goals so far this season, 8 now, courtesy of an own goal with 0 XG. From just 3.4 expected goals scored. It's the second highest tally behind Adelaide. So basically, they're scoring more than they should. In terms of the statistics on the expected goals, that's certainly the case this evening, because they haven't even had a shot. And at the other end, they are conceding fewer goals than the XG that the opposition is creating as well. So in both departments so far this season, the undefeated Phoenix are having a little bit of the rub of the green, if you like. They're scoring more than they create, and they're conceding fewer than the opposition creates. Melbourne Victory a bang on, but some might say it's only a matter of time before the wheel turns. Perhaps not tonight, though, for Wellington Phoenix, who are just showing signs midway through the second half, but perhaps causing Melbourne Victory a few more problems.
Well, that stat was a good one, Robbie. I'll put that in the pre-midnight category.
Had to still be a little coherent
That's
to
right.
get my head around those figures. As here's Falami. Oh! Appeals for a handball there. It was Valupale, in fact. Still running at players.
In fairness to you, you obscure 2:45 AM stats, normally around the FIFA laws of the game and the sub-articles.
Well, he got the arm out of the way, didn't he? Alex Rufa.
Only made a meal of it. But I think what you can say, based on your outstanding analysis, is that Giancarlo Cifi Italiano is focused on where the business of football is done, and that's in both penalty areas. Who cares what happens in the 80 metres between? I'm not reducing his work to that, but it's an interpretation of the numbers you've just crunched for us.
Well, possession in the second half is very much in Victory's favour. But Alex Paulson hasn't had much to do either, to be fair. At the other end, against Rizzo, here's Ben Falami with his first chance to run at Kelly Heald, and he's done well. Falami into the area. What's the referee say this time? Well, again, he lets it go. My word, he booked Nick Pennington for a dive in the first half. What has he made of that from Ben Falami, who's having words with Kelly Heald here?
It looks like there's a bit of contact there. Whistle goes to the mouth, but that could be anticipating the goal kick.
Yeah, but is there enough for a penalty? I don't know if there's... Did he step on the foot? Is there contact?
Well, this is... I'm not going to say anything, you know why? Because we go from VAR Billabong to VAR Billabong to VAR Billabong.
We're not going to start calling for with the VAR. The referee's made the decision on the field from what he saw. Let's have a look again.
I think the more salient point, Robbie, was your reference to Pennington's yellow card in a non-penalty situation, in a nothing situation, attracted an immediate yellow card for diving. I don't quibble with referee Evans for his decision on the penalty, non-penalty, but if it's not enough contact, is it a dive?
Well, you can also have contact that's not
Sure, I know.
a foul and a player goes down, as you as a former striker.
Never smart enough quick enough between the ears to do the Laganis. But Pennington's was a nothing.
Substitution. Kelly Heald has made way, and Sam Sutton comes on for just his second appearance of the season. Both of them off the bench last week and this evening. For Sam Sutton. Well, these two sides met a week before the start of the season in a friendly behind closed doors in Melbourne. It was tight by all accounts. It finished 1-0. Costa Barbarouses, the goal scorer, against his former club. And again this evening, chances have been few and far between. Corner to come now for Melbourne victory.
Very, very clever from Gary. Very clever. Just wonder how tempted Tony Popovich is for Jake Brimmer. The moment it seems like it's a Mashash or Brimmer. He needs evidently to have Teague +1. Now it's Marchand to anchor the midfield. I reckon Jake Brimmer, with any legs in him, could cause some havoc here.
In it comes. Good defensive header from Wooten. Falami, or rather Valupale, with Marchand. Now Fornaroli. Valupale making the run. Fornaroli still blocked by Sermon. And free kick on the newest man into the game, Sam Sutton. Scored in his last 3 matches against Wellington, Phoenix, Bruno Fornaroli. He scored 6 goals in 3 games so far this season. 95 in total, but it's been slim pickings for 73 minutes so far. Chris Economides and Jake Brimmer then. You talk about the quality that you're able to bring off the bench, the quality of player at your disposal. Tony Popovich can bring on 2 more Socceroos. Socceroo quality.
It'll be really instructive, this, which midfielder comes off for Brimmer. Does he go full power and keep Mashash and Brimmer up in the front half of the field and leave Marchand to patrol midfield defensively, which would mean Teague comes off? Or is it that straight swap?
Here's Kraev. Wooten. Good ball for Zavada. And the run from Ball down the left. Just put Guerrier in 2 minds. David Ball still. Crosses in. Dealt with by Damien De Silva. Kraev, that's been deflected off Marchand. Are we going to have that substitution now? We are. The double change coming. Valupale and Fornaroli, the two players coming off. So Mashash stays with Brimmer and Economides. Bruno not happy. Surprise, surprise. So Jake Brimmer didn't feature last weekend against Adelaide after coming off the bench in the first two matches of the season. Gets another chance here, and it's Zinedine Mashash, by the looks of things, who's moved into a, well, let's say number 9 role for now. Might be a false 9 given his characteristics, but he's a big strong lad, and given that Victory are dominating, perhaps he can put himself about a little in that penalty area like that.
They left a bit in there. Never mind seeing a striker do nothing nasty or illegal, but certainly competitive. You're not getting past me as much as I can help it, says Zinedine to Scott.
Well, there you can see that front four. Economides on the left, Falami on the right, Brimmer just behind Mashash. But it's the visitors that have the ball at the moment. Guerrier gets there. Falami with Guerrier again. De Silva with Guerrier, and Victory wants a good ball forward, misjudged by Rufer. Mashash for Brimmer. Economides running at Payne. Economides gets there, but Tim Payne does enough, concedes another corner, which is taken quickly. Economides shoots, Paulson not beaten at his near post.
Well, Payne nearly caught out there. Corner was conceded. He ran, as he's doing now, to get a drink. And Victory took the corner quickly, and you can see arriving late to the scene was Payne. The reprise coming now. He's been terrific this season as a right fullback, Payne. His need for a drink there nearly brought the team a little bit unstuck.
Brimmer's delivery, back post, De Silva's nod down, Falami, Marchand, and now Teague hits it. Straight down the middle, straight at Paulson.
That's a nice clean strike from Teague. Rarely you see a player so heavily left-footed. We don't see sixers come through into the competition so heavily left-footed. Mostly left-footed players, because they're so rare, are moved into the left-hand part of the field. Left fullbacks, etc. He's a terrific little player. It's disrespectful, not at all. He's been very impressive. Real efficiency, good touch. Scored a great goal for Victory. Nice strike at goal there. Doesn't look like he's doing much, plods around the field, but he reads the game nicely, keeps things ticking over.
Well, we know that the Portuguese school as well is an excellent one in which to learn your trade. National teams are invariably a good indication of that. And the number of Portuguese players you see popping up all over the world in the top leagues. Guerrier's throw was looking for Mashash. In the end, Mashash has somehow managed to get on the end of that. Guerrier again. Marchand. With Teague. Economides trying to just dink it through towards Mashash. And Phoenix have to be careful here, because Paulson's been forced into a 4th and 5th saves of the evening. Just there. last couple of minutes, having not had that much to do really in this second half. And after showing signs of life, Phoenix are just being pushed back again with this last wave of substitutions for Victory. Economides again. Brimmer was giving the inner channel. They go back outside with Negro. Here is Brimmer. Trying to straighten up. Back outside. Brimmer goes again. This is nice from Victory. Looking for the comeback for Economides. Is there a transition on? Let's see. The shots. Less in the second half as Economides. Economides didn't get there. There's been a foul in the lead-up with Brimmer, and the referee just waiting long enough to see if there was any advantage. That tells the story. Similar to the first half. Now a season ago before his injury, and the season before that when he won the top individual honour in the league, Jake Brimmer's free kicks were a thing of beauty and constant danger for opposition goalkeepers. The number 22, with 9 minutes left in regulation time, standing over this. The Silvers forward as well. Brimmer goes direct for goal. Looked as though Paulson had it covered.
Yeah, pretty comfortable that one, I'd say. The Paulson might have the sting on it. Just not quite there yet on so far. Jackie Brimmer, we know his best. Superb footballer he is. Just delightful to watch. Great touch. Lovely pass with the football. Very fluid mover. He's not at game pace yet, which is, in one sense, very promising for Melbourne Victory, because they've played well to start this season. They've looked good again tonight. Gradually get Brimmer up to his best. It's a fantastic addition. Good steal from Marchand.
Here goes Economides, who switch flanks. Economides still caught up in the legs of Božidar Krajev. He finds ball. Sutton up the line for Zavada. Geria charging back, but put his foot on the ball, it looked like to me. Jason Geria, yellow card for the foul. Certainly Zavada wasn't going to get away in the back. Sutton. Looks long, it's still one out stuff up front when Zavada has to go it alone. Wrestling with De Silva and wrestling too much as he just drags him out of the way. Marchand looking to get Victory moving forward again. Victory who have been the more enterprising side, Victory who have had more shots, Victory who have created more. But Wellington, I wonder, we'll find the stats at the end of the match. Have you ever had a match in the A-League where one side has not had a single shot? There's Economides' ball to the back post. That lands the header. One of the defenders, Tim Payne, on the roof of the net, corner to follow.
Finish it fine.
Well,
not had a
team that's not had a single shot in the match. And
That's
then add to that, that has actually scored as well.
That's a pre-midnight stat, Robbie. expect an answer to that Sunday, Arvo.
Absolutely. In it comes, near post. Still looking. One thing is for sure, 300 games into his A-League career. He will keep going. Zavada does well. Ben Old. He's got Barbarouses outside him. The boos for Costa Barbarouses still. Now Payne. Rufa. Victory are back, doing their defensive duties. Oh, and there's a heavy touch from Rufa. Mashash for Brimmer. The early ball. Mashash might yet get there. He's so strong. But he kicked out, going for the ball on Rufa. And Mashash just saying, I'm too strong, I think, there to the referee.
But again, it wouldn't have got to there had Jake Brimmer been at game speed. He's not quite hitting that pass the way he normally would.
Now we're going to have the first appearance of the season for the 20-year-old Jackson Manuel. In a moment, as Franco Lino, who made his A-League debut last week against Adelaide, comes on to replace Guerrier. He'll head straight across to left back, as Stefan Negro comes across to his more familiar right back role, although as Popper told us pre-match, he's comfortable on both flanks. Jackson Manuel, who made his debut against the Jets in March last year, comes on for his 6th A-League appearance at just 20 years of age, first of this season for the Phoenix. Given a number of young Knicks players from the academy their debuts. Marchand, that's nicely done, and Mashash's heavy touch, I'm not sure he was expecting it, perhaps still familiarising himself with his teammates, and has to realise that Ryan Marchand has only had one shot in the 2 seasons he's been.
And maybe the position. He's not a natural, he's not played much as a centre forward. The geometry's all different, particularly in those tighter combat zones. Thrilled to see Lino get us a run again tonight. I know I made him the 2 cameo appearances. It is definitely a talent at left fullback, no question.
Here's Economides. Gets down to the byline, crosses, Paulson backpedaling. Payne not taking any chances. Franco Lino, who's Melbourne born and raised. Victory Academy. Now, that's a yellow card for Tim Payne. Now, I think he's yelling at Sam Sutton, his own teammate there, for allowing the cross in.
No, or that it was out. He thought
that it's already gone out of play. Here comes the cross. Paulson punches. Marchand, second shot.
As if to underscore your point. Actually is a very, very capable player, Marchand. Not a noted goal scorer, but in that isolated situation, he's certainly got the technique to finish this. Strong punch again from Paulson. But it did go straight to Marchand, who just couldn't control his hit. Normally a very tidy technician. It's amazing how all that goes out the window. The pressure that comes with a goal-scoring moment, a potential goal-scoring moment.
Fantastic touch, the cushioned pass from Zavada, looking for Ben Old. Connor Chapman doing the defending. We're in the 90th minute. Is there going to be a match-winning moment? We're going to have several minutes of time added on, you'd have to think. Economides, he's looked lively since coming on. Brimmer, the little touch for Economides. Falami and Barbarouses doing the tackling.
I think Falami and Economides were tackling each other more effectively.
There is the Paramount Plus player index. And you can see Gary up with that assist and a very tidy performance, leading the way. Teague, courtesy of his goal, as here's Franco Lino's ball in. All Melbourne victory in the top 5 of the Paramount Plus player index. We'll have a more in-depth look at that in the post-match. As here is Lino. That's a clever little pass for Falami, trying to drag the ball through between two. Six minutes of stoppage time. Chapman with De Silva. Melbourne victory. Have to show some urgency. How badly do they want it? Marchand tries again the effort. Well, his ears must have been burning. It's saved by Paulson again, who's been impeccable between the posts for the Knicks.
Or at least wanted to correct the ledger on that last volley. This is a good strike, nice positive play. The strikers weren't expecting it, no one was following in. But it was very tidy again from Paulson.
That takes Victory's shot target to 16. 6 on target. And we've gone beyond the risk of repeating it. Still, 92 minutes in, 0 shots from Wellington Phoenix, who are holding on to a 1-1 draw, courtesy of Damien De Silva's own goal. Melbourne victory will be furious with themselves if they concede or drop 2 points here. As Damien De Silva has got a bloodied mouth from a collision there with Zavada.
He ran into the elbow of Zavada. Doesn't mean it tickles any more or less.
I think the referee stopped play so that he could receive treatment. So Zavada just coming across to give him a tap on the head, tell him he's going to have to leave the field of play as well. There's the ladder as it stands. The point will see both these sides move from second and third above Adelaide with 8 points. Adelaide, who play Sydney tomorrow, MacArthur, who take on Melbourne City, and Western Sydney Wanderers are still there as well. They're the 5th side with 2 draws and a win, who are also undefeated in the opening 3 rounds of the season so far. So Izzo with the ball. De Silva momentarily off the field, but invited straight back on is Marchand, the Spaniard, with Chapman. Franco Lino, born of South Sudanese heritage in Melbourne. Here's Falami. Australia, young Socceroo as well, was recently off in Spain, those 3 matches in Marbella, France, Denmark, Netherlands, where the young Socceroos emerged victorious on penalties in all 3. Rufa's been up for the battle, as he always is. Here's De Silva. Back towards Falami. Oh, it might fall for Falami. Still Falami shoots. Paulson. Spectacular. Dives on the ball in the box.
It was a great reaction from Paulson. Fell seemingly fortuitously for Falami, didn't really know where it was, but manages to gather and make something of it. But like a startled cat on the rebound was Paulson. Brilliant.
He's taking his time. And Phoenix offside against Ball. Well, they got a scoreless draw on the opening day of the season against a Western Sydney side that dominated that match as well in the heat of CommBank Stadium. And the Phoenix were delighted with the result to come away with an important point. You just get the feeling in the last sort of 15 minutes they've decided that this will be an excellent point as well. Brimmer, and they've laid down the gauntlet to Melbourne Victory and said, look, we're happy with this. If you want something more, you're really going to have to work for it. They might yet get there though. Falami with Mashash. The ball again bouncing around. Sermon, Payne, they can't get it clear. Lino charges it down. Falami, the cross, back post to Economides. Heads over.
Well, again, to highlight what Wellington have done from the very get-go very well is defend their penalty area. Look at that header from Sutton. Now, that was Economides, you called it correctly. I missed it even on replay, Robbie. So it does go down as a chance, but Sutton was more than nuisance value, and that's all it takes sometimes.
The 6 minutes of stoppage time have expired. If it's going to happen, it has to happen now. The crowd impatient. Negro under pressure. Economides with Brimmer, Rufer fighting so hard for everything. Throw goes Phoenix's way. And it's all over to a chorus of boos, not for the performance from Melbourne Victory, but for the scenario and the perceived injustice of it all for the home side. Quite remarkably, this one has finished 1-1 at Amy Park. Melbourne Victory, courtesy of Ryan Teague's first ever A-League goal in the 14th minute, set up by Jason Garrier. But then just 4 minutes before the break, a Damien De Silva own goal meant a share of the spoils, and despite all the huff and puff of the second half, there was no blowing down of the Phoenix house. And remarkably, Wellington Phoenix leave Amy Park not with the first win in 18 matches or 6 years, but with a draw and a goal without even having a single shot in 96 minutes. It's finished at Amy Park. Melbourne Victory 1, Wellington Phoenix 1. And still a little bit of afters there with Rufer and Mashash looking to continue their discussions beyond the final whistle. No love lost there between those two. It's what you'd expect from a couple of physical players. Mashash has seen it all before, the Frenchman. Let's head down to Michael Zapponi, who's with one of the stars of the show.
Yeah, Jason Garrier, certainly one of the stars tonight. That assist, Jason, you'll frame that one, won't you? Watch that a few times. It was probably the best bit of play we saw from Victory tonight.
Yeah, it would have been nice if we came away with the 3 points, I think. Yeah, it's a good little start for me, but I think it's a bit sour in not getting 3 points and not taking advantage of our opportunities, especially in the first half when we have it.
For the second week running now, it feels like you've dropped 2 points at home.